Welcome to our weekly Forex Forecast, and this is for trading for the week of January 7th to the 11th, 2019. We're not in 18 anymore. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started here. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money, and especially during this time when liquidity is still low. We saw what happened with that flash crash. So keep that in mind. Liquidity tends to be low over the holidays, which can cause the moves to be exaggerated. So keep that in mind. So let's dive in. We'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here first. So starting the week off here, we have our ISM non-manufacturing PMI numbers out of the US. We also have consumer confidence number for Japanese yen here. It's not red, but this would be an important number. And actually the trade balance number here as well for Australia will be an important number. So this will have an impact on Australian dollar, and consumer confidence number we need to pay attention to because Japanese yen has been very volatile with the equity markets because the equity markets have been so volatile as well. So in response to that, Japanese yen has been all over the place as well. So any Japanese numbers will have an impact on yen as well. And then we have Canadian trade balance numbers here on Tuesday as well, which will have an impact on Canada. But very important here for Canadian dollar, we have the bank statement. Now, Bank of Canada has raised rates in the past, and they haven't done so the last couple of times, but this time they are expected to raise the rate from 1.75 to 2% here. So this will be very important. Anytime a central bank raises rates, this is good for the currency. So watch out for that. And then we also have FOMC meeting minutes here on Wednesday. Again, this is very important because right now there's a lot of pressure on Fed to not raise rates. President Trump has really been critical of Fed and Powell raising rates. So if the Fed raises rates here again, actually they're not going to raise rates, but what we're looking for is, are they looking to raise rates? Will they continue on with the monetary policy stance that they have taken, or are they going to back off from that? So last speech from Powell said that they're going to continue, but there was some sort of neutral stance there as well. So this is why we need to keep an eye on what happens with FOMC. Any comments, meeting minutes that come out of the Fed will be very important at this time. And then on Thursday, we have Powell himself speaking. Again, his speeches at this point are very important because of what I just said. So that will have an impact on the US dollar. We have retail sales out of Australia. That will be important for Australian dollar there. And finally, we have GDP and manufacturing production numbers for the pound. Pound last week was very strong. So any positive data out of British pound will or is likely to push it up higher as well. And very important numbers here out of the US, CPI, which are the inflation numbers. So this is one of the key numbers that the central bank or the Fed will look at. So if the number is positive or above expectations, that will be good for the US dollar. Otherwise, it will be bad for the US dollar. So that's it for news this week. So let's move on to our charts here. We'll start off with euro dollar. Here we go. So let's look at the weekly numbers here. So in terms of the weekly here, euro dollar is still trading in that range. So it has stayed in this range for a number of weeks now. So price went into the high and it has dropped from there. So this is still range bound at this point. So I'm looking for price to come back towards the bottom of the range here potentially. It can go and test the high, but I am basically looking for price to move back towards the middle of the range or potentially towards the bottom of the range. Now, should it go to the other side, should it break above the range, then we have a lot of room to the upside here as well. Any breakout will lead to price going higher if it broke out to the upside. But for now, for several weeks here, it has been trading in the range. So my bias really is for it to stay range bound at this point. And I think later in the month, as the liquidity picks up again, everybody comes back to their trading desk, then we'll likely have a bigger move here. But for now, just looking for it to be range bound. So I'm looking for it to come back towards either this 1300 number or 1.1220 number. So bias is range bound for euro dollar. Let's take a look at the pound here. Pound was very interesting because we saw a big drop and then it has recovered from that. It has come back from that. So this is what we saw here, a big drop, and then it closed up high. So this one is, in a way, it has been trading in this range here as well. But this big pen here shows that price is likely to continue higher. Now, having said that, I would keep an eye on the top here at 1.2850 level, because if it doesn't go above that, then it can come back down. But this one is looking bullish based on the large pen here. So I would look for price to go up higher. And the target would be 1.3020. But again, I would be mindful of this 1.2850 level. If it doesn't cross it, then it can come down as well. But otherwise, overall bias is bullish for pound dollar. Aussie dollar here, this one also had this big flash crash that kind of went across multiple currencies here, but since then it has recovered. So in terms of our weekly here, we see a huge pin. So it had dropped, it's gone even beyond this level here, went all the way down, crossed that level, and now has pulled back up. And on a weekly basis, we have this big pin bar here. So this gives us a bullish bias, but things have been skewed because of the flash crash and because of the volatility in the market. So one of the reasons everything has pushed up now is because US is going to resume their trade talks with China. So what is becoming clear is that China is suffering because of the trade problems, as well as the US. So both the countries are actually suffering because of the trade issues. So they have decided to, they had previously decided that they will not put any sanctions on each other for the 90 days. So they had a 90-day truce, and now they're going to have talks again. So because of that, the talk or the comments around holding the negotiations and talks again, that has made the equity markets positive. And as a result of that, we are seeing risk kind of coming back into the market. So this is why, part of the reason why we saw everything go back up, because our equity markets went up. When the trade relationships better, equity markets like that. And as a result of that, we are in this risk mode again, and all these currencies are going up. So that will continue. And if the comments are positive in terms of trade relationships, we're likely to see this go back up. So this is looking bullish just based on the technicals, but keep in mind the trade talks as well. So Aussie and New Zealand dollar are especially impacted by trade issues because they are a big trading partner with China. So if China is doing well, Aussie and New Zealand dollar usually do well as well. So this one is looking bullish. Target here would be 0.72 100 and then 0.7310. So those will be the next two targets for Aussie dollar, bullish for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar here as well, we saw it crash and then it came back, and now we have a bullish pin bar here. So we are into resistance here a little bit, but this is a bullish pin bar. The large pin suggests that market is likely to go up. So target here would be 68.40 level, back into the support resistance area. Now, if it gets stuck at the 67.50 level, it could turn around. So keep that in mind, that things could turn around because the markets have been skewed last week. So things could turn around. But based on just the technicals here, I will look for price to go up into this 0.6840 level. Dollar CAD had a huge drop, and Canadian dollar did quite well. And this is looking bearish here. So we went all the way into the support resistance, all the way back here, big bearish engulfing candle here. So this is looking bearish. I will look for price to come back down. Now, if Bank of Canada does not raise rates, this could go back up again. But for now, bias is bearish, and I will look for it to drop. But again, be mindful of pullbacks and stuff. It could pull back into this level again, because this is a good support resistance area. But bias is bearish. Target is 1.3150 for dollar CAD. Euro pound, this one has been range found for a little bit here. So it's still in that range. It is into the support here, but looking bearish right now. So looking for price to move lower, and the target here will be 0.8830 level. That's a big bearish pin bar, so I would look for it to drop further. 0.8830 will be the target, so bearish bias there. Euro Swiss franc here. This one is a neutral candle. We have pins on both sides. It is into support. Because it's into support, it can go higher. So we could see price do a test and then go back up again. So that's something I would look out for. But based on the candle formation here, the bias is neutral. And I will look for retest and looking for it to go back into this range that has been trading. So 1.1300 will be the target, or 1.1350 will be the target to the upside here. So that's the movement I'm looking for. Pound Swiss franc here, this one also had dropped and has recovered last week. So bias is bullish. Now there is this resistance that kind of price has stayed below this 1.2650. So price would have to go through that, but it is looking bullish at the moment, and target here would be 1.2790, so 1.2800. Again, it will have to get through the resistance, and if it doesn't get through the resistance, it can do this. So this is the risk that we have to be aware of. But for now, bias is bullish, looking for 1.2800 for pound Swiss franc. Dollar Swiss franc here, this one, dollar hasn't done that well over the last week here. In this case, we have price came into the support here, and we have a neutral candle close, pins on both sides, small candle body. There is bullishness in the candle. So again, it's the same thing as well. I will look for price to maybe potentially do a retest here and then go back into this little range here. So 1.00 will be the target here for dollar Swiss franc. Pound yen, the yen crosses were impacted in a big way because of this flash crash. And the flash crash, they're attributing it to the Apple statement that came out. Basically, Apple came out and said that they are going to not lose money, but the profit will decrease next year. And they are attributing it to the trade wars between US and China, because Apple products are produced in China. So as a result of that, because of their statement, it came in during the low liquidity time when the markets were closed. So as a result of that, we saw stock market, Apple stocks dropped. They had to halt the trading. And as a result of that, stock markets went down, which meant the yen crosses dropped as well, because a lot of those funds flew into the Japanese yen. And this one looks very much like what the computers would do. It wasn't really the humans doing this. It was all the orders, pending orders that were in there. They got taken out because of the algos kicking in. And as a result, we had that flash crash, which kind of turned around fairly quickly. Not only did it turn around, we have a bullish candle here now. So it has reversed directions completely here. And as a result of that, we have a bullish we have bullishness now in pound yen. So this candle here looks very much like this candle. If you take a look at it, we have a small candle body, large pin. So this one can drop a bit. So I would say on the daily, this one looks very bullish. And with the large pin here, it has that bullishness in it. So what I would say with this one would be the bias will be bullish, but it can come back. And any talks, any positive talks between China and how things go between China and the US will have positive impact on all this yen crosses. So they are likely to go up as a result of that. But looking at this, we could see a similar move here. So this is bullish, but watch out for a bit of a dip and then a further continuation to the upside. So the target here would be 141.50 level here. But the very important part will be this support and resistance right over here, which is 140. So if it stays below 140 here, then chances are it will do one of these, but it's very likely that price will do this. So it will go up from here, especially with the positiveness that we are seeing from the talks between China and the US, unless somebody makes a comment and screws it up. But for now, bias is bullish, but watch out for that dip in it. Euro yen, similar situation here as well. All the yen crosses have this formation here. So this is looking bullish. Again, I would look for price to go up from there, from here. But basically, I'm looking for price to maybe drop a bit here. So do one of these and then go back up. But it is bullish, not bearish here. Just looking for a bit of a pullback before it goes back. So the first target here is 124.50. Second target is 125.90, so about 126 level. So bullish bias here for euro yen as well. Let's go to dollar yen here. Dollar yen is also bullish. So same thing that we saw with the others. We have seen a drop and then a pullback again. So in this case, I'm looking for price to, in terms of a pullback, it could probably come into this level here and then looking for it to go back up again. Target would be 110.35 level here. So the move that I would anticipate here would be something like this, and then price goes back up again. So bullish bias here for dollar yen as well. Similarly, Aussie yen, looking for similar thing here, huge pin here. So looking for it to go back higher. So in terms of the pullback, maybe into 76.00 or a shallow one into 76.80. But bias is bullish here and looking for it to go into 78.60, my apologies. So 78.60 and then 79.80. So bullish bias here for Aussie yen as well. New Zealand yen, same thing, big move to the upside after this crash here. So in terms of pullbacks, we could get a pullback into the bottom here and then a move to the upside. So bullish bias here for New Zealand yen as well. And target will be at the top of this candle. This is a good support resistance area, 74.12 or 74.20 area. So bullish bias for New Zealand yen as well. So let's take a look at our gold here. Gold has moved up with US dollar. Oh, another reason US dollar has been under pressure is also because of the shutdown, government shutdown. Anytime there's a political issue in the country, the currency does not do too well. And we have seen US dollar come under pressure as a result of the government shutdown. So they haven't quite figured out a resolution to that. President Trump wants a wall, and the parliament does not want to give him the wall or give the money for the wall. And that's the dispute. So let's see how that plays out for this week. But it is having a negative impact on the US dollar. And as a result, we have seen this everything else kind of go up against the US dollar. So with the gold here, this has been bullish for the last little while here. Now we are into resistance. We have a pin here. Now that would suggest a bearish move. However, there is bullishness in this candle still. So I would say that we could see a retest of the high and one of these moves. Now, if it goes through this high, then it can go all the way up, because this is an important support resistance area at 1300 there. So there is still bullishness in here, especially with FOMC and stuff. This week could also be volatile for the US dollar. So keep that in mind. But I will look for a retest and then potentially a drop because of this pin on the top side. When we see a large pin on the upside, it usually means the price is likely to drop. Oil here, oil seems to be recovering or pulling back here. We have a bullish candle close. This is the first bullish candle close in quite some time, and looking for price to continue higher. And the target here, the first target here is 50, which is quite close, and then 52 will be the second target to the upside, and third target here is 54.50. So bullish bias here for oil. Copper here, this one has a large pin in the bottom as well. So I would look for price to go up. Now it can drop a little bit, but the bias is bullish. So if you look at this candle here, large pin, drops a little bit and then goes back up. So that's what I'm expecting here as well, something like this, and looking for it to go up higher. 2.70 will be the target to the upside for copper. Now let's move on to, we'll take a look at Bitcoin, and then we'll take a look at equity markets before we close off here. So just looking at the daily chart here on a Bitcoin, it's sideways at the moment. It just seems to be settling here at the bottom here. So I would look for, this is still range bound. It's just holding. So we just need to wait and see. This is neutral for now, not really going anywhere. So I would just look for price to stay within this range that it has been trading in. So neutral bias for Bitcoin. And let's have a quick peek at the equities. So equities have been going up here. So the last couple of days, so even after that big drop here with Apple, they did go back up, and now we have a bullish pin bar here, and especially with a positive talk about negotiations between China and US, that is positive for the equity markets. So I would expect this to go back up. 2603 is what I would look for S&P 500, so bullish bias for S&P. Nikkei here, this one went up quite a bit on Friday there. When it came and tested the bottom, we have two pins into the support there. This is looking bullish, bias is bullish. 2872 will be the target here. So bullish bias for Nikkei as well. NASDAQ here, we're looking at bullish bias here as well, and looking for it to go back into the top of that candle. So this is a bullish pin bar. So 6650 will be the target for NASDAQ. So that's looking bullish, which means the yen crosses are going to look bullish as well. This one is looking bullish here as well. We have a big bullish engulfing candle, so I would look for price to go up higher. 11,032 will be the target here. So bullish bias for our DAX here as well. So all the equity markets are looking quite bullish, which means the yen crosses are likely to be bullish as well, as they are correlated with the equity markets. So that's all I have for today. And just a quick announcement, I'm going to be launching the Turning Pro Challenge again. And this year, instead of doing just the Turning Pro Challenge and showing my account, what I will also be doing will be launching a boot camp. So if anybody's interested in actually working with me through the Turning Pro Challenge, so I'll be doing a little coaching group, and I've been meaning to redo my course, so that will be part of it as well. The cost will be $997, but you will get all the new materials that I will be developing, and then as well as coaching for 3 months from me. So we'll have 2 live calls as well as the daily analysis. So you'll get all of that. I will put a link. I'll post a link for that when I put the video, when I send out the video, so you guys can take a look at it if you're interested. And that's all for me. Any questions before we wrap it up? Okay, so no questions. Perfect. So look forward to a great 2019 here. So we should all, we should see the liquidity pick up. So as people return back to work here. So it should be from now on till April, May is usually good trading time because liquidity tends to be high. So good luck to all of you guys. I will see you again next week. Bye for now.